Good morning, traders. You're listening to Newsware's Trade Talk. This is your moderator, Shane Scott, and joining me today is our trading anchor, Bill Olson, who's bringing over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. Together, we're looking forward to bringing you the up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. And we're starting things off with our markets update. U.S. futures are mixed this morning, with S&P futures up 0.05%, Dow futures up 0.3%, and Nasdaq futures down 0.17%. Contracts on the Dow Jones led gains, while those on Nasdaq are underperforming following yesterday's market surge. General Electric has risen as much as 3.7% in pre-trading after agreeing to combine its jet leasing business with rival AerCap holdings. Gamestop has also seen resurgence, doubling its share price within a week. Treasury yields have edged higher, though still below recent peaks, as the first in a string of U.S. auctions went off without disrupting markets. Following Tuesday's pullback in Treasury yields, which spurred a rush into stay-at-home winners, the rotation from growth to value shares resumes today. Congress is moments from sending the $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief plan to President Biden for his signature, while vaccinations are picking up amid further signs of economic recovery. Faster annual increase is also to be expected from upcoming consumer price data. Elsewhere in markets, oil has edged higher as the dollar has strengthened. Over in Europe, the Stock 600 index rose modestly with gains in energy and real estate shares. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates this morning?
Well, I've been watching the S&Ps all morning long, and they were up earlier. They went down, and now they're just fractionally down a little bit. So you still have the ability for these S&Ps to move higher. You got that stimulus bill that's going to be signed today, which is going to be a net positive for the market. So I'm expecting to see, a little catalyst bump when that hits. I see the Treasury 10-year Treasury yields are slipping. That's positive. Tech stocks should be holding their gains from yesterday, and Europe is it's cautiously higher. So I'm pretty much expecting a good move this morning, throughout the day, and I expect us to be trading a little higher. The Dow stocks will probably do better than the S&Ps and the Nasdaq. But that's the nature of the beast that we're in right now.
Well, let's talk earnings. What have we seen today?
Let's talk about last night. H&R Block, they delivered a 12-cent beat. It was still a loss, but they did miss on revenue and they lowered guidance, so the stock's trading off. United Foods, that's UNFI, under Nancy Frank India, they delivered a 44-cent beat. Although the revenue was a little light, but it was still an impressive beat. Tupperware, that's ticker TUP, Tom under Paul, they missed by 57 cents on higher revenue. So those are some of the earnings that came out this morning.
How about insights as far as upcoming earning announcements?
Let's talk about DocuSign. Let's ticker DOCU. They're coming out with earnings this afternoon. Stock is priced for a 7.8% move. Call activity was very strong. And, rallied 10% yesterday. So, maybe it might be too much. It might have to give back some of those gains. But DocuSign is one to watch. Oracle, it's priced for a 4.3% move when they release earnings this afternoon. Word of caution, Oracle always seems to sell off after the earnings are announced. So even if they're positive, Oracle might not be able to hold the gains, even though it has jumped up significantly over the last few days. JD.com, that's ticker JD. Their fourth quarter revenue should come in, largely as expected. There's some, talk about, some single day promotions that will be positive for them, and the new iPhone launch this past quarter, which will be positive. That stock is priced for a 5.9% move when they release earnings.
Moving into our economic reports, Bill, what type of reports are we seeing today?
Well, at 8:30, we have the CPI numbers coming out. At 10 a.m., we have Atlanta Fed business inflation expectations. And at 10:30, that all-important EIA stockpiles report.
Well, moving into our morning critical insights, starting things off with one on Biohaven, ticker BHVN, and Medicines Pharma. Their Nurtec ODT was approved in Israel for acute treatment of migraines. In other news, General Electric, ticker GE, separately announced an agreement to combine its GE Capital Aviation Services business with AerCap Holdings, that's ticker AER, for consideration valued at more than $30 billion. GE will get about $24 billion in cash and 46% ownership in the newly merged company. GE is up 1% in pre-market, while AER is down 0.89%. In other news, Apple, ticker AAPL, will be making Munich its European Silicon Design Center, adding hundreds of new employees and new state-of-the-art facility. The expansion in Munich will exceed 1 billion euros in the next 3 years. Apple share price is down 0.51% in pre-market. One on Hilton Grand Vacations, that's ticker GHC. That's ticker HGC. It's set to acquire Diamond Resorts, which is an affiliate of Apollo Global, ticker APO, in a $1.4 billion stock transaction. Lastly, for me, one on Lumentum, ticker LITE. Lumentum is acquiring Coherent, ticker COHR, for a $6.6 billion in cash and stock transaction. This new offer has increased just short of $1 billion more from the original $5.7 billion offer. Coherent share price is up 2.17% in pre-market. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
Shane, I'm really breaking my news down into specific alerts so I can really, capture these hot news items while they're actionable. I look at my FANG stocks this morning. I see Apple slashed their iPhone 12 mini production for the first half of the year. I see that Wedbush also added Apple to its best ideas list, so that's a net positive. Amazon, they apparently have over 800 employees now working on their voice command enabled home robot. It has multiple cameras and it's codenamed Vesta. And apparently it's about the size of 2 small cats, but it's a home robot that Amazon is working on. I have my Dow Jones 30 alert. Obviously it went off on Boeing because Boeing's starting to receive orders in February. Apparently they received 82 orders for jetliners. Disney, they had their investor day yesterday and they announced that their streaming service, Disney Plus, has surpassed over 100 million subscribers. IBM Bookings Group has selected IBM to provide cloud technology services, which I thought was interesting. Later today we have some investors days coming up. For example, we have CYBR, they're holding their investor day at 10 a.m. LHX, they are holding theirs at 10 a.m. as well. And AVY is holding their investors day at 10 a.m. as well. A couple other items to note about the news that I saw this morning was in the M&A sector, because GE, they've agreed to combine their jet leasing business with AerCap in a deal worth $30 billion. Honeywell apparently is acquiring a majority stake in FlipX Communications. Terms were not disclosed. And in terms of a buyback, ConocoPhillips, that's ticker COP, Charlie Oscar Paul, they're resuming their share buyback program at an annualized level of $1.5 billion. So that's interesting for tickers of COP, shares of COP this morning.
Let's talk about our Trade Talk picks for today. Coherent, ticker COHR, just off this deal that it's landed with Lumentum. Lumentum's acquiring the company for $6.6 billion, $1 billion more than the original deal. So that's a positive for Coherent. And, they're already seeing some momentum. Their share price is up 2.17%. And I think we could see it go higher. So this is my pick for today. Bill, what's your pick looking like?
I'm going with Domo, ticker DOMO, David Oscar, Michael Oscar. They're a provider of Domo Business Cloud. And, this is an interesting pick because, it's priced for a 19% move. Yesterday, the options were 1,400 calls to 50 puts. So that was like that was a 24 point call put ratio. So it was very, very positive. I'm looking at Domo this morning and I'm thinking that there's a possibility to get in kind of light, under the $60 level. If that's possible, it should definitely run up from there. So I'm watching shares of Domo on an earnings play this morning, DOMO.
Well, let's talk what's hot off the press. So this is the news that's hitting the tape as we speak that will be moving the stocks today. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So looking at our newsware alerts and seeing all the headlines that are streaming in, let's start things off with one on EVMO. So EVMO, that's ticker YAYO, has announced fleet acquisition of Tesla vehicles. So EVMO is acting through its wholly owned subsidiary Rideshare Car Rentals, announcing that it is partaking in a fleet acquisition of Tesla vehicles and is committed to go all electric by the end of 2021. So that's one to look for. One on Talend, ticker TLND. It's entered into a memorandum of understanding with Thoma Bravo, a private equity investing firm under which Thoma Bravo intends to commence a tender offer to acquire all outstanding ordinary shares of Talend for $66 per share. Offered value ends up being about $2.4 billion in transactions. So that's definitely one to look for, TLND. One on Honeywell. Honeywell, ticker HON, has signed an agreement to acquire a majority stake in Fiplex Communications. It's a Miami-based company that develops in-building communication systems. One on Thermo Fisher. Thermo Fisher, ticker TMO, is investing over $600 million to expand its bioprocessing production. One on ConocoPhillips, ticker COP. ConocoPhillips is resuming its share buyback program at an annualized level of $1.5 billion. One on Johnson & Johnson, that's ticker J&J. President Biden today will announce that he is directing his HHS team to purchase an additional 100 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So that's going to do it for us as far as what's hot off the press. But traders, keep in mind, these same breaking stories we get, you can have just like us simply by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out for a free trial today. It'll definitely up your trading game. And lastly, moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Tuesday. I had Baidu, that's ticker BIDU. It opened at $249.37 and had a steady rise all the way up to its closing price of $264.28 for a 5.97% gain for the day. If you held through the close, the share price is up another 0.75% in pre-market, putting traders at a 6.7% gain since the buy-in. So a really good pick for us on Tuesday. How'd yours end up doing, Bill?
Well, I did UNFI, that's United Foods, under Nancy Frank India. Again, my picks are based on solid fundamental data designed to capture a positive return in a short period of time based on the catalyst event. Here's UNFI. It opened up at 31.94, which was kind of high. That was a little juiced up. Then traded down a little bit, but ultimately at a high of the day of 32.43 and closed up at 30.52. Now, I was talking about getting into 31.50, and the catalyst was the earnings. And if you notice, this morning they released earnings. They delivered a huge beat, and the stock's up $3.50 to $34. So that's like an 11% return. And it was a good solid pick yesterday on UNFI.
Nice. Well, that's Trade Talk, providing you a sound fundamental on strong news flow. That is the key for picking winners every day. So stick with us, traders, and you won't be sorry. That'll do it for us here at Trade Talk. But traders, you know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.